Hi guys, and thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, I'm Kat and I like to talk about true crime, conspiracies and all sorts of related things. Today let's talk about Emily Jones. But before we do that, just a quick disclaimer. I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about in the video. This is for educational and entertainment purposes. All the information that I specify in this video is already found in the public domain. Thank you so much. Now let's get into it. Emily Grace Jones was born on 18th of January 2013 in Bolton, Greater Manchester, UK. Her parents were credit manager Mark Jones and solicitor Sarah Barnes. The family were from the Doffcocker area. Emily was 7 years old, was an only child, and she was the light of her parents' lives. She was always full of joy, love and laughter. The Jones family were at Queen's Park in Bolton on 22nd of March 2020, which was Mother's Day in the UK. Emily was on her scooter playing. As she rode past a wooden bench, a female sat on the bench suddenly attacked Emily, stabbing her in the neck, causing catastrophic injury. Emily was taken to Salford Royal Hospital, but despite best efforts to save her, her death was diagnosed at 3:56 p.m. that day. Coroner Alan Walsh stated, "In my 20 years as a coroner, this is one of the most tragic deaths that I have dealt with." On the morning of the attack, the female had bought a pack of 3 craft knives, one of which she used to kill Emily, from a shop in Bolton town centre. Immediately after the stabbing, she attempted to flee the area, but was tackled to the ground by a member of the public and restrained until authorities arrived. The 30-year-old woman, who was unknown to the Jones family, was arrested on the scene. She was detained under the Mental Health Act and placed in a high-security facility. An inquest into Emily's death was opened on 1st of April 2020 and adjourned to 3rd of July 2020. On 20th of May, the suspect was identified as Eltiona Scana, born 24th of February 1990, who is originally from Albania. She married in February 2012 and moved to Kuwait, but returned to Albania in September 2013. She then left Albania again and went to Germany, where her sister arranged for an agent to transport Scana through Italy and France and smuggle her into the UK on a lorry. Scana claimed asylum on her arrival in the United Kingdom on 13th of August 2014. Her asylum application was initially refused in June 2018, but this decision was overturned following an appeal, and she was given a residency permit lasting until November 2020 and leave to remain until 2024. Scana later admitted to lying on her asylum application by falsely claiming that she was a victim of human trafficking. At the time of her arrest, Scana was unemployed and lived in a flat in Bolton. Scana was charged with murder along with possession of a bladed article. She was remanded in custody and scheduled to appear at Manchester and Salford Magistrates Court on 26th of May 2020. She did not enter a plea to charges at her May court appearance. A plea and trial preparation hearing took place on 5th of October 2020. Appearing via a video link from Rampton Secure Hospital, Scana didn't speak at the hearing, and her barrister asked that the arraignment happen at a later date. Presiding judge Mr. Justice Henshaw adjourned the proceedings until 6th of November. At the November hearing, Scana denied the charge of murder but pled guilty to the lesser included offense of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. An adjournment of the hearing for 7 days was requested to give the prosecution time to consider the manslaughter plea. Justice Henshaw granted the adjournment and added that the case would proceed on the basis of a full-blown trial. Scana's trial began on 26th of November 2020. The court heard that Scana was admitted to a psychiatric hospital in 2015 after threatening her neighbors with a weapon, and was again detained and given further treatment in 2017 when she stabbed her mother in the hand and threatened her sister. Police discovered antipsychotic medication in Skana's flat after her arrest, which defending barrister Simon Choka said amounted to about a month's worth. On the fourth day of the trial, Jonathan Pettit, a psychiatric nurse at Rampton Hospital, said Skana had told him, "I killed someone. That's the reason why I'm here," she said. "It was premeditated. I waited in the park, I picked my victim and I killed somebody and tried to run away." Dr. Saeed Afghan, a consultant forensic psychiatrist, said on the sixth day of the trial that Skana had a history of violence when unmedicated. He stated that during Skana's detainment at Rampton Hospital, it was mutually agreed to discontinue the antipsychotic medication, after which hospital staff observed Skana behaving strangely. She was seen laughing hysterically after she noticed a girl on TV who bore a resemblance to Emily Jones. And in another incident, Skana became enraged and was frothing at the mouth. Dr. Afghan resumed the course of antipsychotic medication on 16th of October and testified in court that there was ample evidence Skana had paranoid schizophrenia. The prosecution initially argued that Skana should be convicted of murder. She had bought a knife on the morning that she went to the park and killed Emily, and she was using her history of mental illness as a convenient excuse for the crime. On 4th of December 2020, following Dr. Afghan's testimony, prosecution barrister Michael Brady said there was no longer any realistic prospect of conviction for murder and asked the jury to find Skana not guilty of the offense. Trial judge Mr. Justice Wall scheduled the sentencing for the conviction of manslaughter for 8th of December. On that day, Skana received a life sentence with a minimum term of 8 years before eligibility for release. Before the sentencing, Mark Jones, Emily's father, said what happened to his daughter is a public outrage. In a victim impact statement, he said, "Emily was a vulnerable child full of innocence and wonder. She was just starting off on her path of life and her future was cut short. Our future has also been taken away. How can we enjoy life when the best part of it has been taken away? I cannot understand why this has happened. We want people hearing this statement to understand that this should not have happened. How can an innocent child playing in a park be killed in such a monstrous way?" Skana's defense argued during sentencing that the public interest aligned with detention in a psychiatric hospital instead of a prison. Justice Wall ordered Skana to serve her term at Rampton Secure Hospital and stipulated that Skana should only be released if she no longer poses a risk to the public. He added that despite her mental illness, Skana had a significant amount of responsibility for the crime, which justified a hybrid order rather than a hospital order, meaning Skana has the possibility of being transferred from hospital to prison to serve the remainder of her sentence if her condition improves sufficiently. On handing down the sentence, Justice Wall told Skana that what this means is that you will be detained in hospital until no longer necessary. If or when is no longer necessary, you will be released to prison. Once in prison, you will serve the remainder of the sentence that I have imposed. Due to the pre-trial detainment period, 196 days were reduced from Skana's 8-year minimum sentence. In concluding his sentence remark, Justice Wall said, "If you are never deemed fit for release, you will remain in hospital or prison for the remainder of your life." On 26th of January 2021, Skana's minimum sentence was increased from 8 years to 10 years and 8 months. The first sentence was in error. Emily's father, Mark, welcomed the increase of the sentence but said he will keep fighting tooth and nail to prevent Skana from ever being released. Whether it's 10 years or 20, it won't be enough for me. He also stated that Emily's death could have been prevented if the Greater Manchester Mental Health NHS Trust had handled Scana differently. The Greater Manchester Trust conducted an internal review and concluded that it could not have foreseen the attack. Mark Jones said the internal review was inadequate. It was pretty disgraceful, to be honest, because they outlined all these failings, and there were a lot. And at the end of it, their finishing line was, "We still think the attack on your daughter was unpreventable," which is ridiculous. I have spoken to the CEO on a number of occasions, and I have told him, "I am going to do my utmost. You need to admit liability here and apologize to my family." NHS England subsequently began an investigation and review of the Great Manchester Trust. Emily Jones was a pupil at Markland Hill Primary School in Bolton. After her killing, the school announced plans for a memorial garden. The fundraising target of £5,000 was reached within 12 hours and soon surpassed £11,000. Head teacher Louise Close said, "We want a lasting legacy for this little girl who was taken so soon, so quickly and tragically." A separate fundraiser started by Emily's parents raised over £10,000 within 24 hours, with the funds going to the Bolton Lads and Girls Club, which provides sports and art activities for children and teenagers across Bolton. It reached over £25,000 by the time of the criminal sentencing in December. We need to have a look at the video now.
Tell my husband to come away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let the officers get in there.
Hands.
Turn over.
Take the bag down.
Where? Let me take your bag off.
Yes.
Stay still.
Okay.
Hands behind your back.
Thank you.
I think she's killed someone.
Open the police line.
Have you seen a child anywhere?
Yes, she's on your things.
Is she on her own?
No, everyone's with me. The ambulance is gone.
Right. A child's down there.
Get down there quick.
The ID for Philo.
Yes, it's in my bag. Everything.
What is?
In my bag, ID, everything.
Go ahead. This female is now in cuffs. She said there's an ID in her backpack, which is by the side of her.
What's in your backpack?
ID and everything.
ID.
Yes, and the knife.
And a knife.
15. That's a kilo.
Yeah, turn it out.
15.
Right, the time now is 14:45. At this moment in time, you're under arrest on suspicion of attempted murder. You do not have to say anything, but it may be defensive. You do not mention something when questioned that you later rely in court, and if you do so, may be given evidence. Okay? Your arrest is necessary to protect vulnerable people and to ensure a prompt and effective investigation to this offence.
Yeah.
Okay? What's your name?
Jonas Corner. Jonas Corner.
Okay. Where do you live? Right, just wait there. Just confirm to you what's inside your bag.
You can control. It's just no bombs, no nothing.
No
It's just
bombs.
my ID card.
ID card.
In my mom's ID card.
Yeah.
There is a knife, some water, some juice.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, that's it. So there's
That's
nothing
it.
that's going to harm
in the
me,
bag.
no?
No.
Okay.
This is the moment a woman, calmly sitting on a park bench after slitting the throat of a 7-year-old girl in front of her parents, is arrested by police. The paranoid schizophrenic randomly attacked the schoolgirl as she went past on a scooter, calling out "Mommy, Mommy" to her mother, jogging around Queen's Park, Bolton, on March 22, 2020. Passing the sentence, Mr. Justice Wall ordered that Scana serve her sentence at Rampton Hospital and will be subject to restrictions under the Mental Health Act. to only be released if she no longer poses a risk to the public. He told Scana, "The facts of this case are chilling. The background to the killing is your enduring mental health condition." Emily had been taken to the park by her father, Mark Jones, 49, on the Sunday afternoon of Mother's Day earlier in the year, and was on her scooter when she spotted her mother, solicitor Sarah Barnes, 42 years old, who was jogging. Emily said, "Daddy, Daddy, I want to go to Mom," and she just scooted off. As she did, she passed Scana alone on a bench, armed with a knife bought earlier that day. Scana stood up, pulled her hood up, and grabbed the girl, slitting her throat before running away, but was tackled to the ground nearby by a member of the public, Tony Canty. Mr. Jones cradled his dying daughter, telling her, "Just stay with me, Emily, stay with me. Don't leave me." The girl was taken by air ambulance to Salford Royal Hospital, but Emily had gone into cardiac arrest, and with her mother at her bedside, she was pronounced dead at 3:56 p.m. Mr. Jones has criticized Scana's mental health care. His victim impact statement was read to the court before sentencing. He said, "Emily was the beat in our hearts, the spring in our steps, and the reason we got up every morning. Emily was our beautiful, spirited little girl, a bundle of energy with an infectious personality. Emily loved life and had not a care in the world. One smile from Emily and she had her daddy wrapped around her little finger." How can an innocent child playing in a park be killed in such a violent, monstrous way? Scana was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2015 and had been sectioned and treated as an inpatient twice in the hospital. On one occasion, she had picked up a knife after claiming neighbors wanted to harm her, and another time she stabbed her mother in the hand. Scana was initially given injections of antipsychotic medication, but switched to taking it orally through pills while under the care of the community mental health team. A nurse who visited Scana on March 11, 2020 told the court she didn't detect any psychotic symptoms. Okay, in my opinion, the NHS Trust should be held fully accountable and responsible for Emily Jones' death by their patient Scana. I truly believe Emily's death could have been 100% prevented had Scana been monitored more closely than she was. I think we got to a point in this life where we are not safe anywhere, where our kids are not safe anywhere. You would think you go to the playground with your kid so they can play, so they can have a good time, enjoy their time, play with other kids. You know what kids do. Go to the playground, go to the park. It's meant to be safe, it's meant to be secure. But these kind of things are happening. It's just we live in a horrible world. Thank you so much everyone for watching today's video. I have decided that I would like to focus my videos on covering less covered cases. So please, if there is any case that you feel it needs more coverage, please do let me know in the comments below, and I will try my best to cover it. Also, you can find me, you can email me as well. My email address is in the about section of this YouTube channel. You can also leave me a comment down below under this video, even with a name, and I'll be more than happy to look into it. I am also active on my Facebook page. You can contact me on there as well. Mostly I'm active on Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. And thank you so much again for watching the video. Please take care and stay safe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!